Stop the madness. Keep it 100. The best talk show on the web is here on STMK Radio 100 with your hosts, Shawn L, Let, and Tone the Stone. Come join us from 6 to 8 p.m. Mondays through Fridays. Stop the madness. Keep it 100 with live call-ins, heated discussions about current events, politics, national news, weather, and sports. Join our live online chat room and let your opinion show. Download our phone app, Stop the Madness, Keep it 100 on STMK Radio 100. Come join us from 6 to 8 p.m. Mondays through Fridays. The best talk show on the web is here on STMK Radio 100. Call us at 1-866-484-7865. That's 1-866-484-STMK. Stop the Madness, Keep it 100. At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100. Check out Reverend Bill Miller's Bible Study radio broadcast live on the new STMK Radio 100 at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please listen in and support him as he joins the realm of broadcasting to encourage believers and offer the comfort of God to others across the airwaves. At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100. Also, feel free to contact him for prayer, counseling, and conversation at brobill9608@yahoo.com. That's BROBILL9608@yahoo.com. At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100.
STMK Radio 100. You're listening to Stop the Madness, Keep it 100 with your hosts, Shawn L, Let, and Tone the Stone on STMK Radio 100.
A public street announcement. You are now listening to a Kickback production. Light up your L's, lean back, and listen.
Good evening. Today, out of the Blue Room, we're going to talk with a legendary politician. We're going to go out on the beat with our man, Saxman, for breaking news about a 57 mayoral candidate for the city of Cleveland being arrested and a court ruling just now coming down. But first, out of the Blue Room, East Cleveland, a suburb, stepped in political turmoil and facing an uncertain future. Now it has a list of candidates who want to be the next mayor. The city remained in a fiscal state of emergency, and merger talks have not moved forward since the recall. With the primary election being September the 12th, we're going to talk with one of the mayoral candidates. Also, we're going to talk with a Cleveland Council Ward 10 candidate who has a platform just for the community. Then we're going to revisit the red light ruling that just came down from the Ohio Supreme Court. We're going to go out on the street and talk with the people on the street and with our man on the beat. Then we're going to jump into the chat room with D Knows. And D, who is that in the blue room with you?
Tonight on Stop the Madness, Keep It 100, the Honorable Judge Una H.R. Keenon, candidate for mayor of the city of East Cleveland. Her relevant chronological education and service is as follows. 1953, graduate of Tennessee State University. 1975, graduate of Cleveland Marshall Law School, Juris Doctor Cum Laude. 1953 to 1957, social worker, Davidson County Welfare Department, Nashville, Tennessee. 1957 to 1960, social worker, Cuyahoga County Welfare Department. 1960 to 1974, teacher, City of Cleveland, Board of Education. 1975 to 1978, lawyer, Legal Aid Society, City of Cleveland. 1978 to 1980, attorney in charge, Juvenile Division, Public Defender. 1980 to 1983, partner, Johnson, Keenon, and Blackman. 1983 to 1986, managing attorney, United Auto Workers Legal Services. 1986, elected judge of East Cleveland Municipal Court. Dr. Keenan now serves as president of Welfare and Public Relations for the East Cleveland City Schools Board of Education. And now, on Stop the Madness, Keep It 100, the Honorable Dr. Una H.R. Keenan.
Wow, welcome everybody, Facebook Live, YouTube, and I really want to say this, that I am very, very honored to have the young lady sitting with us tonight to give me a chance to interview her, Dr. Una H.R. Keenan. She's a legendary politician in Cuyahoga County in the state of Ohio. Her resume is just out of sight. I mean, you can't beat that. If you heard that, she has been a judge, she has been a public defender, she has worked on all sides of the issues here. And we have a treat tonight because we have her live on the phone, and you will get to hear her in her own words. Dr. Una H.R. Keenan, welcome to Stop the Madness and Keep It 100.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is a real treat for me, and it's an honor to get to know the young people out there. You are working with them in East Cleveland, and a lot of people do not know actually that you are an icon in political world and all the things you have done and all the service you have did to your community. So to start off, we would like for you to tell the voters and the people of the city of East Cleveland why you want to be their mayor.
I am running for the position of mayor of East Cleveland because I feel that East Cleveland must be revitalized to be a city in which residents receive the services that they deserve. And we must have a higher quality of life. I would like to have a city that would say, I am from East Cleveland and be proud of it. I'd like for the residents to realize that they are part of this community, that this is our city, and that we're going to work to make it just what it should be. Not what it was, but what it should be at this point. That's why I'm in this race.
Now, Dr. Keenan, you know, the only person that I can say in my lifetime, and I'm almost 60, and you way older than me, that is even facing the problems or have the problems that you're going to have when you come into office day one, and that's President Barack Obama, when we was almost going back into the Depression, and that is scary. Was scary for us in 2008, so I know this has to be scary for the residents of East Cleveland, because I just want to tell our voters some of the problems that you're facing that I don't think everybody in the region really knows what's going on, because the working residents have dwelled steadily since 1970, which has snapped the city income tax collection and cut the city general fund almost below half. A large portion of the city lives at poverty level, which is 43% at poverty level, and another 15 to 20% lives below that. Income tax collection has really, really dropped off, and the city has lost $1 million in revenue since 2012 from the state government cuts. Then you have the city books when you walk into office, you won't even be able to tell what's going on because there's no books, there's no records of audits show that even going back to Eric Brewer, Eric Norton, the financial books was a mess and they haven't been kept up, so nobody knows what was spent or what was taken in. Then you have the biggest issue, the Heron Road Hospital left, and that revenue went away. And if that's not all, you got the issue of merger on your table, plus you got the problems with the East Cleveland dump. So I want to start right here and ask you a question to go into some of those problems. What is your plan or your platform for the city of East Cleveland?
I have 15 points that I'd like to talk with you about. I hope I have time for that.
You got time to say whatever you want. If we want to, hey, if we got to cut somebody else off the air, you're going to get your time. Go ahead with your 15 points.
Okay, let me explain a few of my plans to accomplish during the next 4 years, or at least to initiate the plans as soon as possible. Remember, I'm from the old school, and the old slang is make a plan and work a plan. So number one, first I would develop a transition team with persons from all walks of life, business owners, corporate, community, education, community, landowners, and the city council and other diverse backgrounds for us to decide and to help work together on how to build East Cleveland back up. Number two, I would work very, very hard to build confidence and trust in our city leadership. Number three, and this is coming from a Black woman, we know how to manage our budgets, manage the city within our resources. If we have $100 to spend, then we only spend $100. We can't spend beyond that. That's what has gotten us in a lot of trouble. Number four was to have a transparent administration by disseminating information to the entire community. The people have a right to know, and I think that's part of what is happening here. We are one community, one East Cleveland.
Right.
All ordinances, resolutions, or other actions taken by the council or the mayor must be reported to the community. And I will make sure that the community knows what is being legislated by distributing the information to all citizens, whether by a newsletter or by some means of technology. That is one of my promises. And number five, rebuild the neighborhoods by creating street and block clubs to work with the administration, including establishing a neighborhood watch program. This will get more citizens involved in the process of bringing the city into the suburb class. This will enhance the quality of life for all of us by helping to develop a sense of community. Number six, this may answer some of your questions. Establish partnerships with organizations that deliver programs that will enhance our quality of life, where we can develop and utilize these programs and assets within the county, the state, and the federal government. Number seven, address gang violence and criminal activities, meaning public safety. I would establish a citizens commission that would work as a liaison between the safety forces and the citizens, including the police, the fire, and the EMS departments. I think I lost count, but number eight, strengthen the police, EMS, and fire departments by enhancing services, upgrading their equipment, and certainly providing educational, professional development resources to our public safety forces. I think sometimes there's some insensitivity in that part of the city and also in the city itself, in the community. I think we all need to be desensitized. Number nine, focus on the economic development by supporting our existing businesses in the city and engaging in innovative strategies and partnerships to attract new businesses to our city that will create jobs and revenues for our city that will enable us to provide better services. Now, number 10. One day I was walking and campaigning, and I passed by so many properties that were either open, no one lived in it, torn out, and I thought about our children. You know, I'm president of the school board. I thought about our children who had to walk by these properties and sometimes wonder how they would walk safely or how they are walking safely. I understand there are a couple of young men in the community who walk the children to school, and I really applaud them for that. Because I know if I had a child 7, 8 years old, or even 13, 14, 15, trying to get to school and pass by these houses that are open, that they could be snatched into, that anything could happen to them,
Right.
I would have it. So I feel like that we should demolish those D and F rated vacant properties. Now put them in A, B, C, D, and F. And the D and F are those that are down and nothing can be done about it.
Okay.
But there are also some properties that can be saved by working with our community partners, such as the Cuyahoga County Land Bank, Ohio Housing Finance Agency, Western Reserve Land Conservancy, and the Ohio Historical Society. If you think about East Cleveland, you know that our city has many buildings and houses that would be eligible for various fundings because of their historical significance.
Correct.
East Cleveland is a historical city, and that's why I don't want to lose it. I can go back to that later if you ask. But number 11, develop a full housing department with inspectors to assist property owners in maintaining their property and develop resources for assistance in that process. I realize, as you said, a lot of us in this community do not have a lot of money, but there are grants, there are other resources that we can use to help. When I was in the court, I had a housing court, and the housing court sometimes took all day long. And it wasn't to give fines, it wasn't to punish people, but it was to see what we could do to help them. And that's what we did. And I believe that there's more assistance out here, but we have to ask for it. We cannot just sit down and say, okay, we're going to give the city away because we don't have any money. We have to work at it.
Right.
We're not the only city that's gone into fiscal emergency. When I was in the court after my 4th year, I was able to bring the court out of fiscal emergency. After my 2nd year on the school board, I brought the school board out of fiscal emergency. When I say I don't mean I by myself, but I was able to do this.
We understand that you're in the party with that. Go ahead.
Yes, and I believe I can do it with the city. I just need the time, and I need the resources, and I need to be mayor to do it. And number 12, I develop a chamber of commerce comprised of citizens from throughout the community to increase business opportunities in the city. I believe as a suburb that we should have many things that suburbs have, such as restaurants, banks, quality grocery stores, cafes, restaurants, even restaurants where we can go inside or sit outside. Look at the other communities. We could do this. We just have to work toward that. That's why we would need that Chamber of Commerce. And number 13, I would provide technology access to all citizens. This would help increase the academic achievement of our youth by equipping them with tools to be competitive in this century. This will level the playing field for our citizens to gain access to employment opportunities. I think everyone should have that available to them. And finally, and I think I heard you say something about this earlier, I will never compromise my moral compass to do anything that would hurt the citizens of East Cleveland in any way like what has happened with this dump on Noble Road for the last 3 years.
Now your 16 points are very, very good, because not only did you answer half of the questions that everybody wanted to answer, you went into depth to explain to them how you was going to do it. And that is true. There are grants and resources that the city of East Cleveland have that the present, let's just hold it right here for a minute, because we all know that the present structure of government in the city of East Cleveland has to change. So we all agree on that. But we did a show, I think it was show 8, where we went in East Cleveland on a bus route. So I'm going to ask you we're going to go into that right there.
Okay.
We got on a bus with investors from out of town. One thing that the investors was worried about was the activists and the city not being able to work together and to come to one accord to move the city forward. How do you plan to bring them in to let them know that they have a seat at the table, but everybody has to work together and respect each other's opinions?
Well, number one, I would respect them to start with. And that's sometimes lacking. Respecting everyone, the citizens, the council, the judge, respect them and work together. I hate to keep going back to when I was judge, but when I was judge, the city worked together. We all worked together. And our people worked together. And it was like a family. And that's what we have to be to make East Cleveland come together. We have to trust each other. We have to talk to each other. And we have to work with each other.
Now, the second question, even we're going to stay right there, is that, East Cleveland has been divided into three parts. The West End is from from East 125th up to Terrace Road, back to University Circle. That's what they call the West End. And then the East End is the hilltop area where the working people are, and homes that are keeping their, how you want to say it, keeping their value. And then you have the North End, which is the third end, where you have all the abandoned properties and apartment buildings in the middle of town.
Right.
Now, my question is this. I don't know if you're familiar with the term CRIS. Most people call these investors CRIS and University Circle. But the present government structure in East Cleveland did the investors a very, very good favor, because they made the West End already available for them, because they already prepared it for investors. Okay, all they got to do is come in and build up. So have you thought about getting into a partnership with University Circle and Cleveland and Cuyahoga County, like they have in the University Circle area, where you allow University Circle to come into that section, build it up, the city gets the revenue, University Circle help with the police department and some of the services and stuff like that, and the corporation comes in and work with the city. Maybe the city has to give them a little bit more control of that West End. Have you thought about that, or has that been floated toward your administration?
Yes, I have. I've definitely thought about it, and I've talked with some people that you're speaking of now. And I've worked with them. I've worked with them through my work as a judge and to the school board, and from just being a citizen in East Cleveland. I have strong relationships with the leadership of the other municipalities, the county, the state, and the federal government. And I believe that I can reinforce those experiences by talking with them again. I talk with them. I hope I'm saying this right. I talk with them. I've talked with, you're talking about Chris Romaine.
Right, correct.
Right, I've worked with him. Even when Mr. Parker had his Greens Festival, he and I were judges together. But we worked on other projects together. Yes, I talked with him, and he's willing to talk with me, I understand. I have talked with, of course, I worked with the county, Mr. Buttigieg. I worked with the federal government, Congresswoman Fudge. And I believe that sometimes it helps when you, well, let me put it like this. My grandmother used to say, sometimes it's not what you know, but who you know, and
correct.
who knows you.
That's correct.
Know me, yes, and if they know me as I know them, I'm sure that they will work with me. I'm sure that it's not a problem in working with them.
Because
don't get me wrong, I don't know everything, but I know that I can learn, and I can work with them, and I can work with anyone to make this city a better city.
Because when you look at this, we're going to go back down with some of the infrastructure problems in East Cleveland that is really going to bare bone. Just alone that building sitting across from Heron Road Hospital, the last estimate was just $2 to $3 million just to bring it down to the ground. That's not even to haul away the bricks and stuff and put the land back so it can be used. And then you look at all the apartment buildings in the center of town, that there's federal funds for that, but we've been told that the city hasn't even applied for the grants. So have you considered getting a person in your administration that is, let me say the proper way to say it, that is astute and knowledgeable with all the available grants that could come into the city like East Cleveland?
Sir, I have thought in terms of grant writers, not one, but many, because we have lost, and I say lost because we haven't asked. You know, I'm never one too ashamed to ask. I can ask, and I've asked, and I've talked about grant writers. I don't even know if we've had grant writers for the last 5 or 6 years.
Uh,
I don't know whether that has happened or not. I can write grants myself, but I also know people who can't write grants,
well, we've been
and then we can't get money.
not to cut
Wait,
you off, not to cut you off,
okay.
Dr. Keenan, but we've been to answer your question. We've been told by the federal government that nobody has even applied for these grants. Nobody have even asked for them. There's state grants, there's federal grants, there's housing grants, there's grants that they can get for the elderly people to help them bring their house up to code and to also get their house out of tax problems. There's all sorts of grants out there that hasn't even been applied for.
Mr. Howard, I'm right with that name, right?
Yeah,
Officer Howard?
right, you're correct.
Okay. If you are trying to give the city away, if you're trying to show how the city cannot live on its own, would you write for grants?
I agree with you on that, but my personal opinion on that issue has been gone so far on that, and as a progressive talk show host and everything, and being an ex-law enforcement officer, I believe in doing, and I believe in moving on, and I believe that it's time that the people of East Cleveland has to understand what they faced, and instead of going back into the problems that caused the problems, we need to find out how to get past that. And I agree with you on what you just said, but I'm not going to speak on that issue right there because we don't have that
I'm
much
not,
time.
and I'm not either. I don't want to do anything negatively. I don't run negative campaigns, never have. But we just want to look at the realistic part of it.
Now, my next question is, you got, they say 17,500, 17,600 residents in the city of East Cleveland, but I believe there's close to more than like 20,000 people in East Cleveland, or even higher, because we have we have to understand that most people do not register for the censors, and they don't talk to the people, the government, when they come in, so we don't get a correct record. But this is the question: the last four cycles of the election has been very, very scary. I'm gonna say that's scary because you only having 3,000 people to come out and vote. So that means 500, 600 people is dictating how 17,000 people live.
Right.
What has been your as for your campaign to get into the city, to get all these people to get out, at least get 50%? I say 10,000 people to come out, or 9,000 people to come out to vote, to let them know that they're in control of their destiny. Have you started a campaign? I know you have because you're running for mayor, but I mean, how are you doing that?
We have started a campaign toward the voters. We are making a concerted effort to get people out. And we walk the streets, we talk to them, and we have a team that's doing just that, to get people out to vote. We have a team that's going to do just that and getting them to the polls. We have a team in just that and getting those absentee ballots in and getting them done. We are working hard on that. We need everyone to come out and vote. And I always say this, and I don't know whether it's right or wrong, but I say this when they say, oh, you're going to be all right. You're going to win. I said, don't do me like everybody did Hillary, saying they're going to win and don't go to the polls.
Well, I agree. I agree with that because I want everybody. We've been saying before that democracy has responsibility, and you get the government you vote for, and if you don't vote, you get the government that you voted for because you didn't go out and vote. That's how come we have Trump in office and all the chaos that we have now. And we're going back. By you being old school, you can understand what I'm about to say right here is that your forefathers taught you and brought you into the education ring and pushed you out, and you were like the catalyst of the ladder for people like me when I went in under the descent degree and other people to get an education, come into the community to make that change and to make a life better for not only me, but everybody in the community. And that's where we're losing it at, as I keep telling everybody else, is that we're letting the kids, they're not following us. They're not coming behind us. We broke that ladder somewhere, so we got to get that ladder back to bridge it so they can come with us. But I want to ask you this question, and I mean, you have answered everything for us to the point that really the people of East Cleveland really need to understand this. With all this going on with the dump, a lot of people have they have expressed their concerns about health issues and everything. The state of Ohio and the city of Cleveland has basically came and gave the owner a clean bill because what they did was they said there was no let me see how to say this, no medical evidence that anybody in there could get sick from the material that was there. So what basically what they're saying, it wasn't a danger to the residents. But you have a lot of elderly residents there that doesn't feel at ease, and they feel that the state and the city has left them behind. So what would you say to those residents to let them know that you're there for them and you're going to monitor things and you're going to help them, and you're going to set programs up that they can come in and have access to if they feel something there?
I certainly would set up that kind of program. I've talked to some of them. I've talked to a lot of them. And I feel, and I don't care what the state says, I feel that they've been hurt by that. They have actually been hurt. Their physical being is being hurt. Their moral spirit is being hurt. I've had some that says they can't sit on their front porch anymore. I have some that walk around with a mask on them. They're afraid because they have other illnesses, and they don't want this to be a part of it. That's why I said earlier that I'm so sorry that these people were forced to live near this. And I want to know, how did it start? I know who sponsored it. I know who sponsored that dump. I know that now everybody's taking credit for getting rid of the dump, but I know how it got there in the first place. I think some people have forgotten.
And that's true, because it's the breakdown. We had some activists on our show from East Cleveland, and I believe the name of the show is Stop the Madness, Keep It 100. So what we do, we call it as it is. And as when we had the activists on there, we told them the same thing. When they recall one person, they should have recalled everybody. Okay, that way they start fresh, recalling this person and then putting this person in charge and letting him make it worse than trying to recall him. That's no way to go. But I want to know, with all your history, and you got some great history there, and we don't have that much time because I know your campaign manager only gave us 30 minutes. But with all your history and being able to talk to different levels, the elders, the people like the children that came up like me up under you, and then to the millennials, for the people right now, and it says, well, Judge Keenan had her chance, or maybe I'm not there with her right now, or maybe I can't pull that leather for her, or anybody that has doubt about that. What I want you to do is, I don't want you to talk to me. I don't want you to talk to the people that's backing you. I don't want you to talk to your campaign manager. I want you to talk to the people in the city of East Cleveland that has doubt or has not made up their mind. I want you to tell them why they should look at you.
Okay. I would like to say to them that I have served this city for 30 years as a judge and as a school board president, and I have learned a lot. Not thinking in terms of, not adding in terms of what I did before I came here. I've run budgets, many budgets larger than the city of East Cleveland. I have taken, as I said earlier, agencies and entities out of fiscal emergency. I know the government. I know the government and how it should be run. I believe that I can, with my wisdom and my discernment and what people call me a reasonable temperament, I could make this city work. I could use what I have learned while working for this city to now be the mayor that understands what the children need, what the citizens need, what the adults need, and I will always be here to help young people get ahead. I've always believed that I believe it's better to raise a child than to repair an adult. That was my theme all the time, because the young people are my heart. I taught school in the Cleveland Public School System for 14 years, and I worked in the welfare department, and I know the children. Add that into the fact that I'm president of the school board, I'm working for the children now. Add that to the fact that I was your judge, a fair and honest judge. Add that to the fact that I've just served East Cleveland, and I'm asking for your support. I'm asking for your prayers. I'm asking for you to think back and say, not she's too old, but she has that experience. She has what's necessary to be a leader. And when I've had so many people say to me something about the age factor, and at first I just smiled, but my first thought is, I don't know if you know, but I'm an ordained minister also. And I went back to the book of Esther, when Esther said, at such a time like this, if it's something that you know you can do, then you need to get out and try to do it. And that's what I would like to do. So I'm asking again for your support, your prayers, and your vote to make me the next mayor of the city of East Cleveland.
And ladies,
I will not let you down, I promise.
ladies and gentlemen, that is the Honorable Dr. Una H.R. Keenon. I am so blessed to be able to have this interview with you, to put this out on social media. I'd like to thank you for showing us some love and coming into on the air with us. Hopefully, when you get mayor, we can bring you back and we can come and talk with you again, and you won't forget about us. Dr. Una H.R. Keenan, thank you very, very much, and we appreciate you coming with us.
And Officer Howard, thank you so much for having me, and I certainly will never forget about you. I'll need you if I'm mayor of East Cleveland, or should I say when I'm mayor of East Cleveland, I need you.
Oh yes, we're gonna be right here for you. Thank you very, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard Dr. Una H.R. Keenan in her own words here on Stop the Madness, Keep It 100. You need to get out. If you're in the city of East Cleveland, look her up. Find out where she's speaking at. Go to some of her town halls. Ask the questions yourself. Do your own research. Be into the position to know that you're going to be a responsible voter. Remember that elections do have consequences, and you must take control of your own destiny. We'll be right back.
You're listening to STMK Radio 100.
Thirst. Can I try out a few Coke Summer sound effects on you? Yes. Cool. You okay with this? Yes. And this? Yes. And what about this? Yes. Ha! Gotcha there, Thirst. That wasn't sound effects. That was a Coke. I'm no longer thirsty. You're so out of here. Coca-Cola. Open happiness.
At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100. Check out Reverend Bill Miller's Bible study radio broadcast live on the new STMK Radio 100 at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please listen in and support him as he joins the realm of broadcasting to encourage believers and offer the comfort of God to others across the airwaves. At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100. Also, feel free to contact him for prayer, counseling, and conversation at brobill9608@yahoo.com. That's BROBILL9608@yahoo.com. At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100.
You're listening to Stop the Madness, Keep It 100 with your host, Shawn L, Let, and Tone the Stone on STMK Radio 100.
Out of the Red Room tonight is a 40-year businessman who served his community as a deputy sheriff for 20 years, and he's running for an open council seat in the city of Cleveland. That seat was left open by Councilman Jeff Johnson, who is running to be the 57th mayor of the city of Cleveland. This man's platform is more jobs, better safety for his ward, more businesses, and better community service. He's looking to increase job opportunities, developing programs to fight drug usage, violent crimes, high court fees, poor legal representation in the criminal justice system, and he is making it his priority to lower water and sewage rates. Welcome, Mr. Freddie Moore, candidate for the city of Cleveland Ward 10 council seat. Mr. Moore, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us today.
That's good. We're going to jump right in it, Mr. Moore, and we're going to take the gloves off and keep it 100. Tell our listeners why you want to be their councilman.
Well, I've lived in the area for 64 years. I am a business person. I retired from the sheriff department for 20 loyal years. I remember when this ward was so viable that we could leave our doors open at night. Our kids were respectful. The police were respectful. We had businesses. The housing stock was good. And today, it's not adequate. And I think I can do better, and I think Ward 10 deserves better.
Well, Mr. Moore, I'm going to just keep it real with you now. You know, when you get elected, you're not going to have no honeymoon. And on day one, when you walk in office, you're going to have 4 major issues waiting for you on your desk. So let's start right there. The first one is a 2-part issue, and I just want to know where you're at. The first thing you and the new mayor is going to have to deal with is the East Cleveland merger. Where do you stand on it?
I don't think it's going to be a merger with the city of Cleveland. I think East Cleveland needs a new leadership that will bring dollars into the city. And I think the council, as well as the mayor, should have an agenda for the city and not an independent agenda. I think whatever's done is self-imposed to themselves. We just need new leadership, and I think East Cleveland will be all right.
Okay, and the second thing is your ward, Ward 10, borderlines the city of East Cleveland, go up in the Euclid area and back down around Arlington and coming back and around. And the major concerns right there in that area is the East Cleveland dump. The residents in that area want to know, what are you going to do to ensure their safety and let them know that you monitor it and that you're on top of it and you have a program to ensure that that never happens again?
I'm going to stay on top of the dump in East Cleveland. We shouldn't have it. It's a problem with the person that voted for it. I think the process now is that the trash and the garbage is being removed. The soil is contaminated. So I'm going to do my best to stay on the state and the city and East Cleveland to make sure that the wheels are rolling to get the dump and the soil in that area clear, because the air carries the fumes and the toxic waste from that dump. And it's germane to the community as well as the citizens and Ward 10. And I'm going to stay on top of it and make sure things are right.
Now, you know, coming into the city of Cleveland, we have our own issues right there. So we're going to come back around because, you know, the new mayor, we don't know who it's going to be yet. They're going to face some real serious issues with the city of Cleveland. And we're going to talk about police reform. With the DOJ report over 600 cases of police misconduct, what would you do and what would you require the safety committee to do to ensure that the police department is treating the residents of your ward fairly and respectfully?
I think the safety committee should be revamped. I don't think it's a real safety committee. I think the residents are limited to the people that they can vote for. And I think the police department needs a sensitivity training, and that they shouldn't look at our residents as just a job. I would want the police department to walk in our area to get to meet the residents, as well as the residents get to meet the police, and to put a face and a name on the residents. You cannot ride around in that car and get to know the residents. It's just a job to them. It has to be more so for them to care about our community. And I'm going to make sure that the police department, when the guys are off duty, I would like to hire our own in-depth and police department so we can have a complete complete walk around and talk to the residents and get to know them. They would have less time to pull a gun on a kid if he knows his name and he knows he's a resident and he knows the kid, and vice versa. The kid should know the police, and they should respect each other. We don't have that right now, Sean.
That is correct. And you remember the old days we did have beat officers, and the police officers did get out and go into the community, talk to the owners, They was invested in the community. If they didn't even live in the community, they came back and went into bars or went into the shops with the owners and sat down with them. You're correct on that issue.
That's correct. That's correct.
Now, I want to ask you some things that's going down the line that some of the mayoral candidates has brought up that they're real serious about. Number one, the city of Cleveland has a problem with disciplining their law enforcement officers, and due to the fact that is blinding arbitration, where the arbitrator is coming back and forcing the city to hire those police officers back that they feel violated the law or violated somebody's rights. So you continue to have this repeat circle going on. Would you be willing, or are you for removing binding arbitration from the union contract, giving the rights back to the city to hire and fire their employees?
I would have the state have a bigger role in it. The arbitrators, they're not for the people, they're not for the residents, they're not for the voters, they are for the system, and the system is the problem now. I would vote to get the arbitrators out. I would not allow them to have anything to do with the judgment of the police department. I think we need to bring the residents in as far as the committee, so we can really get some truthful answers to the police department, because we're being mistreated. We got police coming from out of city in our town, putting folks in jail, when a lot of times you don't have to go to jail. You can get out and talk to these people. And then if you take it downtown, it's business as usual. Well, it's time for a change. Whatever you did 10 years ago, it hasn't changed, Sean, and we need to make change right now. And I'm in a position now to make change if the people elect me Councilman Ward 10.
Now, we're going to continue on that issue right there, because one of your, well, I'm not going to say one of yours, but a 57 mayoral candidate has proposed also one to issue a city ordinance that no city employee or union employee would get paid by the taxpayer. So basically what he's saying is that he will reassign Steve Loomis, the CPPA, the FOP, and all those people back to zone cars and make them work on union business on their own time. Would you be for something like that?
I would agree. You shouldn't take the city money and beat up the people with it. That's what you're doing. City won't run the money. Taxpayers will. These seniors living on fixed incomes, they can't beat the system. We have to go in and fight for our rights, and that's what we're going to have to do. I would agree with the person that's proposing that issue.
Now, also, we're going to, right here before we leave the police reform, the city of Cleveland spent $10.9 million for a reverse 911 system. And back in May or early May, you had what was known as the Facebook killer in the city of Cleveland. Ward 9 and 8 was packed on Easter Sunday to the rafters, and they was never notified, nor did the city use the 911 reverse system, and churches had to do their own calling to tell people about the Facebook killer, and you didn't hear from the administration at all until 6 p.m. Now, the question is that the chat room and everybody want to ask is, if the city's not going to use a 911 system for a man walking around saying that he's going to continue to kill residents at will, what good is that system? So when you become councilman, will you change the program for that to make sure that the residents in 8 and 9 are notified when Jacob Field, the hospitals, and the educational institutions are when they wasn't at that incident?
That's more the same, Sean. That's wasteful spending. I think we should go back and look at the whole process and reverse it. Why would you spend money on a program that does not work? And then if the residents need you, you're not there for them. Yes, I would reverse it. I would vote to reverse that and look at another system for our residents and our taxpayers.
Now, our school system is very, very important for the community. As you know, it takes a village to raise a kid, but our school system is only graduating about 45% of the senior class. And of that senior class, staggering only 32% goes to higher education. So would you be for putting programs back into the schools that teach kids trade like auto or laying bricks or electrical or something? So when they do come into the community, they have a trade that they can fall back on.
Skills is the remedy. You got people that do not have a vested interest in our kids making six figures. They don't come into the ward. I think our schools are having a F as far as the grading now. I've already talked to retired plumbers, carpenters, that will come out and help us and donate their time to teach kids, carpenters, how to rebuild these houses, plumbing, and I'm ready for it. And I have a committee. I cannot do all this work by myself, so I have a heck of a committee that's working with me, and we're going to work all over the ward to make sure our young folks learn a trade, just like the prostitutes on the corner. They need to go into a facility, learn a trade, because it's a better way than selling your body. They just need to be learning, and in the city, don't want to hire kids because they don't have the training, but if you don't have a program to train them, how are they going to learn? So what we're going to do is we're going to have skill training for these kids.
Now you brought something up that, matter of fact, I was at a Ward 10 meeting a couple of weeks ago. In the Euclid Wayside area, that is a high prostitute drug area up there. And most of the business people up there, like the motels, that's their client in town. That's where they're making their money and stuff at. So how would you change that around so they won't go into that dark side trying to make that money so you can clean that area up?
You have to educate them. You have to let them know that it's a better way and it's skills. I'm not talking about just something to get elected. I'm talking about a real facility that can teach these ladies, say, you don't have to sell your body. You don't have to mistreat the kids. You don't have to be a streetwalker. You can go in, learn a trade, and get a job and be responsible, and you can take care of your family that way. And I would be for a skilled program for all of the residents of my ward.
Now, we know that the government right now, as it stands, there's got to be a change. So let's go back into what's happening with the city of Cleveland on these sewer rates. They're astronomically high, and then they're charging more for recovery fees than actual usage of the product that you have. How would you change that around as being a councilman without hurting the services that are being provided right now?
I have a four-suite apartment building I purchased in 2013, and it's a four-suiter, and I have a water bill and a sewage bill about $800 a month. They're running the city through the water department. Now, I have to make priorities, and my priorities are to my tenants. Now, I would vote to repeal and investigate the company that the mayor has hired to charge these people, because there's something definitely wrong with the water bills and the sewage bills. I have talked to senior citizens that couldn't buy their medicine because they had to pay for the sewage and the water bills. It's a pyramid scheme. If you go downtown, Sean, and make arrangements to pay your bill, and say something happens, you get sick, your wife die, your kids go up to school. If you miss a payment, they demand all the money, and if you don't pay it in 30 days, they'll make a way to sell your property. They're putting people in the streets. They're making people homeless. I would vote to repeal that, and I would do whatever I can to make sure we bring a company in here that's friendly to the voters and not against them.
Now, going back into the chat room from Ward 10 residents here that we have put out there, investing into the young people in your community, how are you going to, in that area, Euclid area, coming back down around Eddy Road and back into the areas right there, how are you going to bring the companies back into that area with the way the police department is and the way the crime is? What is your program to entice them to come back into the area and build that area back up?
Qualified labor. They have people that have worked in the ward and have lived in the ward. And most of the kids that are here we talk to a lot of kids because as we are canvassing, we talk to them, and we tell them that, like myself, Sean, I have a business, I own a home, I have everything, every kind of car that I want, and I got that through working, not selling drugs. It's a better way, and most of the kids are receptive. If you show them a way to make money and a way to be responsible and a way to work, they will work. But at this point, at this juncture, they're not getting that. We're going to make a change. We're going to do it now as soon as we're elected, and we're going to be elected.
We're good for that. Hold on for 1 minute. Facebook Live, YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram. We're talking with Mr. Freddie Moore, candidate for the city of Cleveland, Ward 10 council seat that was left open when Jeff Johnson decided to run for the 57 mayoral election. Mr. Moore has been telling us about his program, and he has some very serious stuff that he's talking about. And we talked about, I want you to go back on demand or go back into it later on, because he talked about doing some very serious things for police reform that our city needs to really bad. He talked about some of the cases. Now, Mr. Moore, I want to go back into it and bring you back in here with us. The city of Cleveland, and the biggest thing right now that you may have to vote on, again, like I said, you're not going to have no honeymoon. It's the $175 Q deal downtown. But before you answer that question, I want you to put that in your mind before you go there. Downtown has been the beneficial of all of the money and all of the redoing, which, you know, we did it. We've got downtown back. We built the sports thing. But on the other end, the neighborhoods has been suffering and has been on the bad end of that comeback. So you're going to have to vote for that Q deal because you know that it probably will go to the ballot. But what is your thoughts with the new mayor in order to get the communities and the neighborhoods back to where they need to be at?
I don't have a problem with competition, but they say you take care of home first. I've looked at the west side, I've looked at downtown, and the mayor is doing a great job with that, but he forgot about the east side. I would have not voted to give the Q $88 million, I think it is, and we have abandoned houses, holes in the streets, homeless people, no jobs, crime. I would not have done that, and we don't have any programs out here. I will fight against that. And we have a matter of fact, we have a candidate in the race that voted for that $88 million Q deal. I'm not for giving our money to any millionaire, and we have all these problems in our ward.
Now, with that, in the neighborhoods, the crime, the abandoned houses, would you set up a task force? Something that I noticed that the factories and the banks are doing, they're they're dropping foreclosures and they're walking away from their properties. Would you set up or recommend a task force to go after these homeowners and bankers who doesn't live in the city but just going to walk away and let their property rot, to hold them responsible for the upkeep?
We're going to train these young kids to rebuild these houses, and we're going to do the best we can to investigate to see who owns the property that they walk away from, and I'm going to do everything I can to have them prosecuted as soon as I'm elected councilman.
And we want to go back to that because you said something that I wanted to go right into right here. I know we don't have that much time, but I want to go into making homeowners out of our homeless residents and our low-income residents. As you said, you just said that you're going to train the kids to rebuild up the vacant properties, and then are you going to give them to low-income people or homeless people to bring them into the homeowner marketship?
Well, we're going to try to have a situation in Ward 10 where we won't have any homeless people. We rebuild these houses, and if we have homeless people, we're going to have a lottery, hopefully, that we can take some of the homeless people off the street and have programs so we can bring them in and teach these kids, teach the prostitutes, and teach the folks that walk at night. It's a better way in this city, in Collinwood area, today than the way they've been living for the last 5 to 10 years.
Now, the biggest issue that most people in the city of Cleveland is faced with, but it's a silent one that's going around, is the regentrification of their residents. If you notice, downtown was built up, they was pushed into the neighborhoods. Now they're being pushed out of the neighborhoods and they're being pushed into the outlying counties. Have you been thinking about that, the way to get our residents, to get them to take roots into the community and stop everybody from fleeing the community to the suburbs, so they can give back into the community and get the city back the way it used to be, like in the early 60s, 70s, where everything was down on Superior, Euclid, 105th, back that area?
Well, if they own their property, and most of the people are leaving Cleveland because it's not here anything for, it's nothing here for them. They're being taxed out without representation. The city hall is not friendly to them. They have to go down to the water department and they talk to the residents like they got tails, and they misuse the people, and the police our residents like it's a second, third country, and it's not. It has to be a better way for us to get together and live together. At this point, Shawn, we're going to have to give the people a reason to come back home. Give them programs, give them jobs, make sure it's safety here, and that's what we're working towards.
Now, you mentioned something too for the education. Policing the community, back in the 60s and early 70s, the federal courts instituted a consent decree on most cities. And the cities instituted a program like the BPO program, the Armed Auxiliary program, where they educated our young black youth, trained them to be police officers, and then promised them jobs on a 2-year out program like it was the BPO program. Would you be interested, or would you fight to bring that program back to put police officers inside the community that comes from the community that looks like the community?
Well, nobody wants it to look like a police state. I think that's education. I think we educate our kids how to respect our seniors, how to respect our teachers, and you go to school to learn. And that starts at home. Putting police on the street is really not going to make a difference. We have to give them a reason to want to be here, to want to learn. We have to bring programs here. We got to invest that block grant money into our community. And if you don't have enough block grant money because of the people that are leaving the city of Cleveland, I would ask a colleague to pool this money together so we can work in the areas that's more needed. And the next year, we'll work in his area if it's more needed. So I think it's service and money and just come into the community and do some work.
Well, before I let you go, Mr. Freddie Moore, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to give you a chance to talk to the listeners and talk to your voters and let them know how you is. But for somebody to say that I just can't vote for Freddie Moore, or I'm not there yet, or I just want to give Miller another try because he got a bad rep, what would you say to the people that may not be in your corner or may not be on your side, and the people that's on your side? So what I want you to do right here with the remainder of your time, I want you to talk to the citizens of Ward 10 in the city of Cleveland and let them know what you're going to do for them and why they should give you the shot, even if they're not looking at you right now.
Well, my name is Freddie Moore. I've been in Cleveland for 64 years. Like I said, I have a business here for 40 years. I'm retired from the county sheriff department. I work in East Cleveland, police there, part-time. Shawn, most of the candidates have gave me a bad rep. They really scare the seniors. They just lie on you. You know how they do it. I've done my best to work in this ward. I've gave all I could to this ward, and I'm ready to work for this ward. All I need is an opportunity to show the people that I'm serious, to bring the programs. I would always call you back. I am not what they say I am. I am a Baptist person. My church home is Christ Baptist Church for 25 years. I'm a good citizen, a good resident, and I'm a good taxpayer. And I'm asking you for your support, and I'm asking you for your vote September the 12th, 2017. Remember, the last 5 years, has anything changed? If you serious about voting, look and see and read the literature, and I appreciate your vote. And thank you, and God bless.
Mr. Freddie Moore, we appreciate you coming on Stop the Madness, Keep It 100. we're going to have to, we're opening up a in-home studio in the Bracknell, Cleveland area. We're going to have to get you in the studio where you can come in with your campaign manager, and we sit down and just do a whole hour show or 2-hour show and just talk about what the community needs, because we need to start educating our community and our kids. And we're going to give you a lot of play, and we hope that you remember, stay with the community, and we're going to try to help you out. Hey, we thank you for joining us on Stop the Madness and Keep It 100 and coming in to have the interviews. People, this is Freddie Moore. We want you to look at him. Look him up on computers. Look at him. Look at what's going on. Check him out, his campaign. When he's going to be at some town halls or community meetings, we will let you know, and we appreciate you. Right now, we're going to go pay some bills, and we'll be right back.
AP Radio News. I'm Tim McGuire. President Trump had this to say about his fire and fury warning earlier this week to North Korea.
Maybe that statement wasn't tough enough.
He adds that the North needs to get its act together or it will be in trouble like few nations have ever been.
I can tell you that what they've been doing and what they've been getting away with is a tragedy, and it can't be allowed.
As for his fight with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell over the Affordable Care Act, Trump was asked if he wants a Kentucky Republican to lose his leadership role.
If he doesn't get repeal and replace done, and if he doesn't get taxes done, meaning cuts and reform, and if he doesn't get a very easy one to get done, infrastructure, if he doesn't get them done, then you can ask me that question.
New Orleans Mayor Mitch Landrieu urging people to be ready for more flooding. He says part of the city that has lost electric service to one of its turbines, which powers most of the pumping stations on the city's East Bank.
We believe that we have enough power with normal rainfall to do what is necessary, assuming that Entergy's power holds. If for some reason there is a disruption in service, where there is from time to time, we are at risk.
Flooding last weekend caused major problems in several parts of New Orleans. Taylor Swift testifies in a federal lawsuit a former radio DJ reached under her skirt and intentionally grabbed her backside during a meet-and-greet photo session before a 2013 concert in Denver. AP music correspondent Margie Zarletta reports Swift also testified she didn't speak up immediately because of the situation she was in.
Swift says she did not want to say anything about the incident because there were a lot of people in the photo area, and it was something she did not want to make known. She says she wanted to get away from DJ David Mueller, but that would have meant disappointing a few dozen people waiting to meet her. She first mentioned the incident about 15 minutes later to her photographer.
Mueller testified yesterday he never groped the singer. On Wall Street, the Dow's down 112. This is AP Radio News. 5 migrants are dead, more than 50 others missing after smugglers forced them from a boat off the coast of Yemen in a second such drowning incident in 2 days. Jesse Mueller is with the UN's Organization for Migration in Yemen.
There was an incident between the migrant smuggler and the authority-type figures along the coastal areas. The migrant smuggler, who then got scared or intimidated by the authority-type figures, then asked the migrants and pushed the migrants off the boat.
In the first drownings reported yesterday, a smuggler forced more than 120 people into the sea. The organization says it's found the shallow graves of 29 people on a beach, with at least 22 others missing. A Florida group which is trying to preserve Confederate monuments is backing a new effort, erecting a statue to Snooty the manatee. That manatee died at the age of 69. The group says it will back the idea as long as it doesn't replace a Confederate war memorial. I'm Tim McGuire, AP Radio News.
Napa know-how. There are lots of amazing cars on the road, but perhaps none more amazing than the paid-off car. It may not be pretty, but the price is right. Heck, if you keep that thing running, it'll actually start paying you. Because with Napa Rewards, for every $100 you spend, you'll get $5 off. So keep your car running longer, stronger with Napa Rewards and watch the savings start rolling in. That's Napa Know-How.
Napa Know-How. Stop the madness. Keep it 100. The best talk show on the web is here on STMK Radio 100 with your hosts, Shawn L, Letty Love, and funny man Doug Million. Join us from 6 to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. Stop the madness. Keep it 100. With live call-ins, heated discussions about current events, politics, national news, weather, and sports. Join our live online chat room and let your opinion show. Download our phone app. Stop the madness. Keep it 100. STMK Radio 100. Come join us from 6 to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. The best talk show on the web is here. STMK Radio 100. Also call us at 1-866-484-STMK to stop the madness. Keep it 100.
Man, I dig inner monologues. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, look, a fillet of fish just sitting here in my mind being all delicious. Hey!
That's my sandwich.
What? How did you get in my inner monologue?
Door was open. Give it back.
Man, get your own invisible sandwich.
Any day is a great day for a filet-of-fish sandwich. And right now at McDonald's, you can get 2 filet-of-fish sandwiches for only $3.33. For limited time only, prices and participation may vary.
You've been tuned in to Stop the Madness, keeping it 100 on STMK Radio 100. And now back to your host one more time, Shawn L, Let, and Tone the Stone.
Now, the Ohio Supreme Court came back with a ruling Friday on the red light cameras. If you remember, the state legislators passed a law that said no one could use any type of red light camera enforcement unless a police officer was present. Now, back in February, I think it was show 8, we had a big segment on this, and we had the 4112 news investigator and activist from East Cleveland, Gerald Struthers, who attempted to tell the audience that East Cleveland was operating a illegal red light camera system. And we got into a heated argument over that. But I promised Gerald that when the ruling came down, we would have him back on the show and we would talk about this. But as everyone knows, Gerald Struthers passed recently. So in his honor, we're going to revisit show 8 and the red light camera situation that we talked about before the ruling was done. So what we want to talk about right here is the red light situation, okay? A lot of people in the chat room is asking this, so we're going to go to this. I'll try to get to this with the person who was doing reporting from 4112 News.
Man, can you stop giving that guy plugs?
No, I'm going to give him the plug because you know what? He deserves every plug he gets. So I'm going to give him the plug because I know when he goes into his news, I know when he goes to his news, when he goes back up on Facebook, since he wanted to say, I went to his page, since he said he wanted to play stupid, well, guess what, Jerry? You did a damn good job playing stupid on Stop the Madness, Keep It 100.
Stupid is.
Stupid does. That's correct. Now, the red lights situation in the chat room, I'm going to bring it right on out because I know everybody's coming. In the chat room, they asked about the red lights. I didn't get a chance to talk about this, but pastors, you right here. East Cleveland is the only city in America that voted to keep the red lights, okay? I want everybody to understand this. This is a vote by the citizens to keep the red lights, to tax them for speeding or running a red light. The state legislator passed a law.
That's why they got so many lights on you.
Yes, that's why they got so many lights, because they got cameras on every light.
Oh, on every single one.
But let me say this. The state legislator passed a law saying that you can only use a red light camera if a police officer was with you. Now, and if you fail to do that, then you lose funding from the state.
Well, they got that covered on Nova.
No, well, let me tell you what happened here. And I got a statement from the Ohio Supreme Court, okay, and I got a statement from state legislators and stuff, okay. House Bill 154 clearly states that if any city used automatic enforcement, traffic enforcement devices, a law enforcement officer has to be present. They did that to stop the suburbs, like East Cleveland, from raping the citizens without their due process. Okay?
Right.
That's why it was done. But East Cleveland, under the Ohio Constitution, has the right to write its own laws.
That's right.
Okay? The city of Cleveland, under the Ohio Constitution, have the right to write its own laws.
That is correct.
As Akron.
May I interject there?
Go ahead.
They have the right to write their own laws as long as they don't interfere with the federal and state.
Right. I'm getting ready to say that. Okay, I'm getting ready to say that. But as Dayton, Akron, and Toledo, because this is where it comes back down to. Okay, the city of Cleveland voted to remove all red light cameras and stuff.
Right.
So we had to drop. There was no sense of Mayor Jackson spending any more of Cleveland's money on fighting the red light issue because the citizens already voted to take it out. So right there, that's why Cleveland left. Okay, but Dayton, Toledo, and Akron filed an appeal to the Ohio Supreme Court, saying that the state of Ohio was infringing on their right to write their own laws under the Constitution of the state of Ohio.
How so?
Okay, because the state of Ohio law cannot tell a city how to do enforcement or how to run a city. Okay, that's like when the gun law came over, like you said, Pastor, when the city said we had to register and stuff, and the federal government said we didn't, and then the state said we didn't. All the cities had it uniformly coming to contact in line with the state law, because it could be lesser than the state law, but it can't be more than the state law. So that's what you were saying right there.
Right.
A statement from the Ohio Supreme Court spokesperson says the following, and I want to read this. I didn't get to it with Jerry Struthers because I wanted to know where he was getting this, that East Cleveland was operating an illegal red camera operation, because the statement from our state rep says that they're not withholding funds from East Cleveland as the law required, because that law is under review and appeal in the Ohio State Supreme Court. Now, the Ohio State Supreme Court has clearly stated that while they are reviewing the law issued House Bill 154, which required law enforcement officers to be present when any electronic or photo traffic enforcement device being used is put on hold. So what that means is that law has not taken effect until the Ohio Supreme Court makes a ruling whether it's constitutional. So this is what happens. Now let me explain to everybody, if you get a red light ticket, it is a civil matter, okay? You can pay it
or not.
But it goes on your credit. Okay, so let me say this right here. Once they put it on your credit, in order to get that off your credit report or anything, you're either going to have to sue the company that put it there or go to court and fight it, okay? Now, the Ohio Supreme Court is recommending and telling everybody that if you pay the ticket, keep a copy of your receipt. And if you don't pay the ticket, ask for a hearing on the grounds that East Cleveland is violating the state law, and go to the hearing officer and argue that point. You might lose the hearing, but if the Supreme Court says that it is the state of Ohio is constitutionally correct in imposing this law on the cities within the state that can make their own laws, then you can go back to East Cleveland and ask for a refund, or you can sue the city of East Cleveland for a refund.
Cleveland really going to be jacked up because a whole bunch of folks going to have bad credit, because you know black folks don't like to go to court.
So, or you can sue the camera company because they are not law enforcement. So in the state of Ohio, they do not have a right to operate.
Right. But that's only, that action can only be taken when the Supreme Court says yay or nay.
Well, on a personal matter, they can go through with that right now. They don't have to wait for
right,
that.
but it's going to be held. So it makes no sense to waste money if it's going to be held by a court. You're correct, but if a court's going to say that the Ohio State Supreme Court is reviewing this matter, so no lower court is going to make a decision. They're going to defer it.
Can I take him to small claims court?
Yeah, you know what? Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you right now. I just hold on to the ticket. I wouldn't pay it, and I take my chances with.
I need my money.
What it is.
STMK Radio 100 is now investigating what the new court ruling means to your town using traffic cameras that so many drivers love to hate. In short, a ruling by the Ohio Supreme Court made it easier for cities to use these cameras and send out tickets to drivers caught running red lights or speeding. The court struck down some rulings created by the state lawmakers that made it harder for cities to use cameras. Now, no officers needed to be present and sitting there at the camera. No traffic study needs to be done in the area, and there are no more limits for setting speeds that trigger tickets from cameras. The court ruling, in effect, says the state's rules had interfered with the rights of the cities to create their own rules. The cities that, under the Ohio Constitution, has home rule status was Dayton, Toledo, Columbus, Cleveland, and East Cleveland. They all was in the suit together until East Cleveland and Cleveland had to drop out. We took hard questions to local towns using the cameras. For instance, STMK Radio 100, time and time again, went to East Cleveland, and East Cleveland mayor, and asked him why East Cleveland was giving out camera tickets without an officer present, even as the state accused East Cleveland of ignoring rules for camera tickets. At the East Cleveland City Hall, we found that the mayor and law director high-fiving over the ruling. Mayor Brandon King said he believes the camera helps with safety, although drivers call them city moneymakers. King reacted to the ruling saying, "This is a relief for the residents who understands the need for safety." STMK Radio 100 asked if this means East Cleveland will put up more cameras, and King said no, not without just cause. Drivers we met react by talking about traffic camera tickets, saying, "I'm done." I had about 3 or 4 of them in this area of East Cleveland, and just taking money out of our pockets. In Newburgh Heights, Police Chief John Major said he didn't expect much to change there. In Lindale, Police Chief Thomas Franzak said he hopes the new ruling will help free up officers for other police work in his town. Officers sometimes sit in a shack near a traffic camera there. Sanjak argued the cameras have benefit the residents of his town for safety. The ruling was 5-2 in support of the city of Dayton, challenging of the provisions in the state law that took effect in 2015. The city said it was improperly limited local controls and undercutting camera enforcement that made cities safer by reducing red light running and speeding. Dayton and other cities included Toledo and Springfield said the law restricted made traffic cameras costs go out of whack. A major opinion written by Justice Patrick Fisher found that 3 restrictions unconstitutional: limited the municipality home rule authority without serving an overriding state interest. The state highest court has twice previously ruled for cities on cameras. Justice Patrick DeWine wrote a dissenting opinion saying the legislation was a compromise meant to deal with concerns that cameras was being misused to generate revenue while allowing municipalities some opportunity to employ cameras. Friday's decision has the unfortunate impact of further muddying a body of laws that is already hopelessly confused. The state had contended that the laws was within the legislator's powers as a statewide and comprehensive way to regulate enforcement of traffic. Supporters say officers were needed to detect cameras malfunctions and situations that clearly call for an exemption from tickets. Dayton police use traffic cameras goes back nearly 15 years and has resumed this year using officer-manned fixed cameras at certain locations, saying traffic crashes has shot up after camera enforcement halted. Dayton is also among cities that have equipped some officers with new handheld cameras to record violations. The Ohio Supreme Court has ruled anyone receiving red light camera tickets during the time of these cities' appeals have to pay them with interest. That's what we was trying to tell Jerry Struthers back on show 8 when we had that segment of red light cameras. You heard it though. Here on Stop the Madness, keep it 100. We do educate our listeners. And now, let's go into the chat room and see what's happening with Dino's. D, Free for All Thursday. What are the opinions showing?
Well, Shawn L, it's Free for All Thursday, and they are letting their opinions show. Ellie Tread 107, just following the law would solve a lot of people's concerns. People who speed and blow through stoplights should pay a penalty. I Not With It 9808. Our Supreme Court that made this ruling on cameras is the same court that said property taxes for schools is unconstitutional, but they refused to enforce their ruling. Horndale, aka Wild Goose. The money we need doesn't grow on trees. Anonymous Democrat politician. Vietnam vet 1967. They just rip you off. That's all this is. Kitty 69. When can I get these in my city? I'm tired of sitting at a green light waiting for cars blowing through a red light. The solution is simple. If you don't speed and blow through red lights, you won't get a ticket. Duracell. Cities and police forces will go broke when self-driving cars are commonplace. Funny Side 88, Doug Million. While I was in his office, I asked him, "Sir, what is the secret of your success?" He said, 2 words. "And sir, what are they?" "Right decisions." "But how do you make right decisions?" "1 word," he responded. "And sir, what is that?" "Experience." "And how do you get experience?" 2 words. "And sir, what are they?" "Wrong decisions." And that's what's happening in the chat room with D's Nose.
Hey, welcome back to Stop the Madness. Keep it 100 out of the chat room with Dino's. On the phone, we got our man on the beat, but before we go to him, breaking news all over Cleveland, Ohio right now. If you're on social media, you need to click on that link coming to our Ustreamtv processing. We are streaming live on internet radio, and we are streaming live on Ustreamtv and Pluto TV. We have no control over Facebook and our inner YouTube live video or volume. So click on that link and come on in to our studio with us. But news is breaking all over Cleveland, Ohio. Tone the Stone is in studio with us. What's up, Tone the Stone?
What up, sir? What up, Stop the Madness, keep it 100.
Hey, we got the man on the beat. He out there talking to the people. As you know, one of the candidates for the 57 mayoral election was arrested. But this happened 2 years ago, I think it was. But the appellate court just ruled on his case and found the police did proper, and they held up his conviction, and he went in. So I'm going to go right there to my main man on the beat. Saxman, what's happening?
What's happening, Sean? How's it going, Tom?
Hey,
Saxman, what up, brother?
Hey, Saxman, you out there on the street? You out there with the people? What is going on with this case with our number 2 contender that may just dropped out to number 4, Eric Jonathan Brewer, on tape, on video, in drag again? What's going on?
Well, the buzz so far, Sean, what I've been hearing is people still supporting. They still say even a candidate in drag can still be the best Cleveland mayor we had. Cleveland mayor we got. So he's still getting a lot of support from his followers and his Facebook followers. They still support him. There's some that's making light about it, but he still gets a lot of support from a lot of people. Shocking, but it's true. He's getting support.
I haven't been on his Facebook page yet, but some people inboxed me some stuff. I seen the video, but on his Facebook page, is he actually telling people that this is fake? That Paul Orlowski?
He said Paul Orlowski is making up stories and sound bites and videos of him in drag, and the things that he was saying to the officer was all fake. It's all fiction.
So he's saying that wasn't him in the video?
He's saying it's all made up. It's all propaganda. It's all false information. It's all fake news is what he's saying. And I'm trying to figure that out. How is that possible when you're on video, clear as day? You on body camera video. It was a nice looking wig he had on. He didn't look that bad though. He had his nails was painted nice, and he even sounded kind of sexy. You know,
Can he verify his whereabouts at the time of the video if that wasn't him?
He was stopped somewhere in between Akron and Cleveland.
But Saxman, wait a minute, Saxman. I got police officers in the chat room, and the chat room clearly is saying that he got stopped by a rookie police officer, and the rookie police officer did not know what was going on, and he called for a sergeant. So give us the particulars on actually. Tell us. Wait a minute, hold on, because you know what? Hold on. Tony Stone, this is for you. This is for you.
Oh no! Did you say that?
Either you're part of the solution, or goddammit, you are the fucking problem.
No, he didn't.
Oh no! Did you say that?
Either you're part of the solution, or goddammit, you are the fucking problem.
Now, I want to get this clarified. Saxman, clarify this for us and the listeners. Was Eric Brewer stopped by the police at 2 o'clock in the morning in drag?
How can I put it?
Keep it 100. That's the name of the show. Stop the Madness. Keep it 100.
Allegedly, he was stopped.
Wait a minute. Is this video doctored, or is this actual video of the traffic stop?
The video is not doctored. It doesn't look doctored. It doesn't appear to be doctored. It doesn't sound doctored. I believe it's factual.
So okay. Let me go back here, cause see, you want to play games and you want to be serving. So wait a minute, hold on, cause John in the chat room just said this. So we're gonna let John have the stage for a minute.
Either you're part of the solution, or goddammit, you are the fucking problem.
Okay, so we're gonna let John talk one more time. I want you to be quiet. I want John to tell you something that he wants you to know as the man on the beat.
Either you're part of the solution, or goddammit, you are the fucking problem.
Now we want to know what the problem is here. I'm gonna go up. Cleveland mayoral candidate Eric Brewer, dressed as a woman and claiming his name was Erica, was stopped on a traffic stop and given citations 1 year ago for drug possession, driving on a suspended license, according to court records and the police video.
Okay.
This charge just came to light when his misdemeanor convictions for drug possession, drug paraphernalia, and driving under a license was upheld by an unanimous 9th Circuit Court of Appeals. Brewer appealed his conviction, stating that the police officer violated his Fourth Amendment rights by running his plate and stopping him without him making a violation or committing an offense. The 9th District Appellate Court said that there is no right to private or expectations of privacy on a license plate, which means that the police officer was within his rights to stop Eric Brewer and conduct a traffic stop.
You mean Erica Brewer?
Well, I'm just going to say Eric now. Brewer was also cited in Akron for driving under a suspended license when he was stopped by Akron police in 2013. He paid $657 fine, and he received 100 hours community service. Now, the question is
was
here.
he a drag on all of these occasions?
Well, that's what I'm getting ready to ask Saxman. The question here, Saxman, we want to know, was Eric Brewer in drag?
he was in drag on this latest stop in 2016. Now, the other stop, was he in drag? I don't know. I know he was in drag, and I think in 09, I believe he had an issue in 09. I believe they got the drag photos of him dressed kind of intoxicated with some nylons on the wig and push-up bra. But
he was still mayor then, right, of East Cleveland?
I think, yeah, in 2009, he was mayor of East Cleveland, and he was running for re-election. No, he was running. He was still mayor. He was running for re-election, and somebody stole the pictures off his computers and gave it to.
So this is my question, Saxman. Since you seem to be the expert on this guy, since he's already been caught, and you know, I think he's owned up to it that he likes to dress in drag on that previous exposure. So now, why? I mean, I feel like, you know, everybody knows that you're into this, so you gotta own up to it. And trying to hide it, that's just gonna damage your reputation as a politician. You know.
Wait a minute, Saxman. Hold on for a minute, Saxman.
Tom. It's hard to own up to a reputation of being drag or homosexual when you're trying to run for a city office or public office.
Plenty of others have done it before him, though. You know. And in this day and age, you know, you got to embrace who you are. You know, like in the past, it might have been better to hide those things, you know. But in this day and age, you have to embrace who you are. It's called integrity.
You still got homophobic tone that still not like the fact that he's coming out saying
that's the chance he got to take.
So
that's the chance you got to take if you want to run for public office. You can't run under false pretenses.
Tone, he wrote a 8-page response to this on his Facebook page. Everybody's telling me. So I don't know because I asked Eric Brewer to come on to the show and to sit with us and to talk with us about this. Okay, and I asked him to try to come into the show with us.
He hit my thing and told me that he would come in on my show and talk to me about the issues. Why he would come on my show and not on your show?
Well, we know why he was gonna come.
Now it's starting to make sense.
We know why he gonna come on your show, okay? Because number one, I'm from Shaw High. Kathy Grant, alumni president, welcome, showing your brother some love here on Stop the Madness. See, I'm from Shaw High. I'm going to challenge him when he says something and I know it's not true. I'm not going to allow that to get over, okay?
That must be an East Cleveland thing. I wouldn't know nothing about that, but Saxman, now I know why you won't say nothing about him, because you don't want to jeopardize the chances of him coming on your show.
Yeah,
man.
Saxman,
you got to keep it 100. See, this show is called Keep It 100, man.
Right. I'm keeping it 100.
Okay, Saxman, I got a guy in the chat room right now telling me, wait a minute, hold on. John T. Jackson from Boston, Ohio. So was he stopped in Boston, Ohio? But okay, John from Boston says that the rookie didn't know what to do, so he called a supervisor. He says that this officer hadn't even been on the job a year yet, and when he stopped Eric Brewer, I'm just reading what he said here. Eric Brewer said that he was Erica, okay, and that since the policeman read the plate and seen a picture of a man when he walked up to the car and seen a woman, he should have turned around and walked away. I mean,
well, that's what Erica said, right? That's what she wanted the cop to do. But there's nothing in the Constitution that says that the cop is supposed to do that and to give citizens that type of leeway. Because if your face is not matching that plate, the officer can investigate to find out who you are behind the wheel. You don't just turn around and walk away because you ain't the person. No. You know, you could have stolen that vehicle. You could have kidnapped somebody. The person that owned the vehicle could be stuck in the trunk of the car.
But they said, wait a minute, but I got a police officer here from Summit County. I'm not going to name his department, but he clearly says that when Erica told that policeman his name was Erica, that was arrestable offense for lying to a law enforcement officer, falsification of information to a law enforcement officer. Plus, he also saying that when Erica refused to show him driver's license, that's a arrestable offense because you could be arrested for not having a driver's license on your person.
And then once he knew he was about to get arrested, it mysteriously appeared. Remember, he said, "Oh, I found my driver's license." So at that point, it matter. It didn't matter at that point because you're already pissed off the sergeant because you didn't get smart with the rookie. And now the sergeant said, "Oh, well, he's been lying. We're gonna arrest him and tow the car."
But but somebody who said that who seen the video says that he had his fingernails painted, he had his toenails done, that he had the full gear on. I mean, Saxman, you seen the video?
I seen the video. He said he was coming from Akron from doing some event that he was posing as a character up in Akron.
Wait a minute. Is he a female impersonator on the side, or what's going on?
He might have split personalities.
What'd you say, Tony? Split personality?
Yeah, he might have split personalities. Is my mic up?
Yeah, your mic up. Go ahead and talk into it. Yeah, he got split personalities, huh?
Yeah.
But no, I don't think it's split personality. This is what he does.
Okay.
He just he don't like to get caught.
Okay, so let me ask you this question, Saxman. Since you're the law enforcement officer on the beat, and you out there with the people.
Yeah.
Is this why he's on his campaign against police officers for randomly running license plates?
Yes, I believe this is the reason why he's so hard against cops doing the random license plate checks because he keeps getting caught. Doing this,
but say
Doug Million, if you watch, Doug Million, if you watching us today, I know you sitting there. Doug Million, call my number. You got it. Call my number because I want you to come in on this because you read Eric Brewer's 5-page statement on show 712. And he was the number 2 contender. So, Doug Million, give us a call because I really want to hear what my comedian got to say about this one.
No. Remember he said in a statement that he don't want cops to stop nobody for, run a license plate for no apparent reason. And if you smell marijuana in the car, ask him where you got it from and just let him go. Because the fact that he got caught up in Boston Heights, with marijuana, a drug paraphernalia, and drag on a suspended driver's license. This is why he wants everything to stop. If he becomes mayor, so he can continue to behave the way.
Yeah, but him being mayor of Cleveland ain't gonna change nothing in Boston Heights or Summit County or wherever he
but now this is the question right here that I'm just going to have to ask this question for the people in the chat room because we're going back into the chat room because the chat room is dying, okay? The question from the people in the chat room is that when this rookie police officer walked up on the car at 2 o'clock in the morning and observed what he observed, he probably just lost his mind and didn't know what the hell to do.
He probably thought he was about to get his Mac on real quick.
That rookie got placed in a whole different category that he wasn't ready for, and put him in a situation to where he had to back up and think. Now, he probably wasn't used to that. Remember, he's new. He probably never had a traffic stop like that yet. He probably ain't trained for that type of traffic stop. So it caught him off guard. So he was stumbling over his word. That's why he called for a supervisor.
So you talked to Eric Brewer today, correct?
Yeah.
What did he tell you? I mean, give us some insight of the conversation you had with him, since he's coming on your show and you going softball him. You heard that, Tony Stone? You heard that, right?
Softball him.
Yeah, he going softball. He's coming on.
Softball. And I'm gonna talk about the fact that he put out and what's out there. I'm gonna talk about
Sax, Shawn, let me ask one quick question. Ask him this. Right. Ask him this. You just explained the platform, or one of the platforms he wants to run on in his campaign. But ask him why he would dig the hole deeper, and then as far as denying having his license on him, and then reveal it, like playing those type of games that really guilty people play, or people who have something to hide play. It's
a debater. He's a debater. That's what he is. He's a debater. He likes to debate.
But how you going to debate? Wait a minute. How you going to debate a rookie police officer at 2 o'clock in the morning in the middle of nowhere, and he got a .40 caliber on him, and you sitting there in drag? He knows you're a man, but you telling him he's a woman. That's a dangerous situation. I'm gonna have to call it. That he's lucky that.
But you know, like I know, if that supervisor wouldn't have been there to back that rookie up, to get that rookie the proper technique to arrest and do his report, Erica Brewer would have talked that rookie into just giving him a ticket and sit him on his
No. Hey, what about if that Erica Brewer could have been sitting there on the side of the road with a gunshot in the middle of the head also? Okay, because as
that didn't know what he was doing.
But see, but Saxman,
and he might have been the type that don't like men addressing. You never know.
Well, not only that, let me say this: as being a law enforcement officer, I know that this rookie officer, every alarm bell in the world had to be going off at this time. Okay, I mean, he stops a car. All he wanted to do is just write a ticket. He stops a car. He got a male sitting in the car, dressed as a woman, telling him he don't know his name. He is his brother's car. He don't know what to do if one of the people in the chat room said if you listen to what he...
So he was trying to play his twin sister, his own twin sister?
Yeah. But, and the guy in the chat room is saying that the sergeant, if it wasn't, my thing is this, okay? And I want to say this. Now, I do know this, and I want to say this because one of his people are here in my chat room, and they said that he said he wasn't arrested. He received citations and stuff. Well, let me say this clear, and let me say this for everybody to get it off the pot. If the police officer removed Eric Brewer from the place that he stopped him, he was placed under arrest whether he had handcuffs on or not. Okay, because even though if he didn't have to take Eric Brewer back to the station to release him, he gave Eric Brewer tickets. He impounded his car. He took him back to the station to get him off of the freeway so he'd be in a safe environment. Okay, so let's not mix words on that. But as I said before, Eric Brewer has been on a ticket of law enforcement officers randomly running plates, and the Ninth Circuit Court just affirmed what I did an op-ed on not even a week ago about police officers running plates. So why would you come out, as Tony Stone said, why would you come out talking about police officers running plates and it's illegal when you knew that this has just happened to you?
Because that's the reason why he don't want cops, and he's running that ticket. He's trying to convince people that it's wrong, that it's illegal to do it because it keeps happening to him.
Well,
and he don't want to happen when he becomes.
Let me go somewhere else with that because I'm done with Eric Brewer. We'll talk about that next week when Doug Million here. We're going to do a whole next week, people. We're going to do a whole segment because I'm going to have my wait a minute, Saxman. I'm going to have my IT man go into the video from Channel 3 and the police video off of policeone.com and we're going to dissect that whole video of the conversation, and then we're going to actually see what happened, because we're going to have a conversation of what happened, what he said, how he said it, and the listeners can go choose for themselves.
And then we're going to crash your show when you come on your show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to definitely crash that show. Wait a minute. Now, the second thing I want the chat room want to ask you, Saxman, and really before this break, this is what we was going to talk about before the breaking news came up, and we only got 2 minutes to talk about it, so keep your answers short. One is, what is going on in Baltimore? They finding more videos of officers fabricating evidence?
Oh, that's going to continue, Sean. They're getting away with it. And a lot of them, the ones that they're catching, was the ones that were getting away with it before it's going to come out to light. So it's going to continue.
Okay, but I want to ask you this, because the people in the chat room are asking this. They use those videos in court, so the officers didn't edit them. So who edited them for the prosecutor's office and everything? Did the DA edit it and then use them in court?
Well, if they turn it over to the DA as evidence, don't they have to make a documentation of it?
But somebody had to edit it, because the people was the people was convicted it, and I know they didn't show the part where the police officer was planting the evidence. The public defender's office is finding the unedited body cam that they didn't show that didn't show this in court. So my question is, somebody in the administration or somebody had to download that video for the DA in court. So who edited it?
No, see, whoever the officer gives it to, or the officer themselves.
Well, the officer can't do it, because the officer doesn't have possession of it.
No police personnel or no judicial system person. Nobody who has anything to do with the process of the judicial system should be allowed to edit those tapes. They should go to like some independent body, some civilians. You know, it's got to be a third party that that can't allow nothing like that to happen.
Because Cleveland police, Sean, they once they done Cleveland or any police department, because I can do mine. Take it back into the squad room where we get the computers where we plug it up and we can download our days.
Yeah, but you don't have access to edit it or bring it back out.
Right. So if the supervisors of that shift want to go in and look at what we've done, they're the ones that can go in and they have the codes or whatever going in.
So
and then download it onto a disk for public use.
So that means that a super. So that means wait a minute. So that means that somebody in administration down there. Okay, now here go the second question I want that we want to. Well, come on, because we only got a little bit, so we got one more question that we want to talk about before we even talk about Donald Trump. We may not even get to him, but we might. What the hell is going on with the Cleveland Police Department? Now they paying protesters. All the cases were dropped for violating their rights during the arrest. They got to pay them $50,000 plus lawyer fees, plus the man that they arrested for burning the flag.
Oh yeah, I'm in the wrong business.
Wait a minute, Saxman. He may get a payout of $3.5 million for being arrested when they violated his constitutional rights. And next week, folks, we're going to have Mr. Smith. He is a candidate for the 57th mayoral election for the city of Cleveland. We're going to have him on the show next week, either by phone. We haven't worked it out yet with his campaign people, but we're going to try to get him on the phone where he can come in and talk to us about it, because I got some questions I want to ask him, too, because this makes no sense. The police department is run by black officers, okay? The mayor is black. Why are we paying black protesters $50,000 for violating their rights?
Well, were their rights violated?
Yes, their rights were violated, and the cases was dropped.
So why are they getting paid if the cases were dropped?
Because they suing the city.
Civilly.
Matter of fact, I'm in the wrong possession.
I'm not mad at they getting paid for that.
I'm not mad they getting paid, but Tony Stone. Wait a minute, Tony Stone. Let me say this.
I think it sends the right message, man, that we got to start treating people.
Tony Stone.
Like we want to be treated.
But you have a black chief. You have a black mayor. Not one person in the city of Cleveland at a protest because they're in charge of this. Not one person in the city of Cleveland should be arrested. Their rights should not be violated when you have a black chief, a black mayor, and they in charge of what's going on in that situation.
I agree.
That's unacceptable.
I agree.
Okay, that is.
You saying they should have never been arrested in the first place?
They should have never been arrested in the first place.
To this.
And if they was arrested, they should be on trial, and the police department should prove that they didn't violate their rights. Okay, I'm not going at the men and women of the Cleveland Police Department. I'm going at the head of the police department, Calvin Williams, Wayne Drummond, Mayor Jackson. I'm gonna call their names out because I don't have no shame in my game. You got a black chief. It is outrageous, and I'm gonna say this again. It is outrageous that we have a black chief, we have a black mayor, and the DOJ have to come into a black city to tell the black people that the black people in the community is being mistreated by the police department that they're running. That is fucking unacceptable. It is time for a change. Mayor Jackson got to go. I'm telling everybody right now, and I'm sorry about this, but it's that time. Mayor Jackson has to go.
Fan base is big, I can't lose. Sugar bow down, I'm the next to rule, but I'ma stay on the cool, remain on the under, cause like Andre 3000, your boy's ice cold. Ain't no limit to the gimmicks and ways to make money. No limit to the just to act funny when you get that cake, cause you spit that way. They may love you tomorrow when they hate you today, but yo, that's the way the story goes. So I was told, following the ramble down the yellow brick road, but please believe at the end ain't no pie to go. Just some platinum beats from the Cleveland streets.
Tona Stone is that time right there. Go ahead, what you want to tell our people. And I'm sorry, people, but I'm serious about that. That is unacceptable. A black city being ran by black men, by a black mayor, and somebody has to come in and tell them that their employees are harassing and violating the rights of black citizens in their city. It's time for them to go. I'm serious. It's time for a change. It's time for the community to come out and remove Mayor Jackson. I don't care who you put in. Mayor Jackson has to go, and everybody in charge of the police department has to be fired. As Malcolm X says, if you're not going to stand up for what's right, then you're not going to die for something. It's time not to even be in existence. Tony Stone, what you got to say, my man?
I love the way you keep it 100, Sean. Hey, since we keeping it real, I'm no fan of the Mayor Jackson administration myself. So, you know, that's all I'm going to say about that at the time. As far as the Chiefs and everybody else involved, you know, the light shines brightest on the top. So, you know, they gonna get it. They got to start rolling heads. They got to start making examples of, because the officers on the streets making arrests, they just following their superiors' orders. So, you know, but the big dogs at the top, they got to start sending the message from the top downwards. And that's the only way we're going to get it right. If the people at the top start sending the right message down the chain, down the stream.
Hey, I'm your host, Shawn L. Next week, we're going to have a 57-year-old candidate with us. Hey, everybody, I want you to enjoy the Cleveland Browns game. Get out, drink responsibly, have fun, go Browns. And remember, peace, love, and happiness. Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, SoundCloud, and our 17 sister cities and Orlando. Thank you for joining us today on Stop the Madness, Keep It 100. See ya.
You've been listening to Stop the Madness, Keep It 100 on STM.